Alright everybody, Chris here from Chris Travels. Today we have Tom from Eeztire Products. This is that TPMS sensor that I was telling you all about, that big safety thing that I wanted to have with the RV, especially going through the Alcan and going throughout the United States. Tom is on my Note 4. You can see it right here. We have him on speakerphone. Go ahead and introduce yourself, Tom.
Hi, my name's Tom with Eeztire Products, and I handle most of the tech support for our Eeztire tire pressure monitoring systems.
And how'd the company get started for you?
The company's actually started back in 1999 doing outdoor recreational gear, and in 2004 we shifted the focus over to the RV and outdoor camping arenas.
Awesome.
And the owner, Donald Shin, is based out of our headquarters in Yuma, Arizona. I'm based out of our California office. And we service the RV industry both domestically and internationally. The tire pressure monitoring systems are one of our product lines. We handle about 95 products, everything from chairs to RV mats, LED lighting, TPMS systems, induction cooktops, and pretty much the full range of aftermarket accessories for RVs and camping.
Oh, so you have a whole wide array. Is the TPMS, is that a pretty big product for you over there?
It is. We started carrying TPMS systems just going on almost 5 years now. The reason we started carrying tire pressure monitoring systems is we recognized the problems people were having with blowouts and not understanding their tires and how their tires operate when they drive. And we realized that there was a need to carry a product enabled to enhance the safety for our customers out there. And so the tire pressure monitoring systems monitor both the tire pressure and temperature of your tires as you're driving. And it monitors your low pressure, your high pressure, your high temperature, rapid air loss, and catastrophic failure. And the idea is to let you know that you have a problem with your tires before you have a blowout or have a flat, and you can address the issue. Or if you do have a blowout, pull over immediately before you have any safety issues or do any damage to your rig.
Absolutely. And in my research on Amazon, all the RV forums, it seemed as though everybody mentioned this product as the one to go to. So you all must be doing something right over there.
Well, we appreciate that. We try to offer 24/7 tech support, and we're here to support our customers not only on this product but all of our products. So.
Awesome. Well, let's go ahead and do this unboxing. I was kind of dreading, as a lot of you watching this video now as it goes live, you know, here in Indiana we just got a bunch of snow and it's absolutely freezing out there. And Tom mentioned that I'm actually able to set this up in Atlas, my new Class A, so I'm very happy about that. So as we open this box here, first thing we see is the instruction manual. And then underneath that, there is a top cover of protection. Then we have the 6 tire pressure sensors. We have the monitoring unit, and it looks like we have some actual mounting hardware as well. And then it looks like there's 2 compartments. So underneath that, we have, looks like some more mounting hardware, some stickers on there, as well, along with, looks like the charging port. So what all do we have here, Tom?
So on the top of your box, you're going to have your 6 sensors and your monitor. Mm-hmm. And the system handles 0 to 22 tires. So however you order your system, it'll come with that amount of sensors to it.
It can go up to 22?
And we offer up to 22.
Wow.
And we offer both flow-through and anti-theft sensors. And in your kit, I believe you purchased all anti-theft sensors.
Uh-huh.
Okay. On the large, it comes with 3 mounting brackets. So the one on the left side of the box is the suction cup mount that can go on your windshield or your dash.
Mm-hmm.
Or some people will put it on the driver's side window.
Okay.
On the bottom, you'll see 2 little bags. One will have a little black triangle mount.
Okay.
Which you can bolt onto your dash, and use the articulating head off the suction cup mount to screw onto that.
Oh, okay.
And inside the packet, you have a numbering kit to number your sensors. So when you're sitting there, you can number them, and then you'll know what tire they're going to go on when you go outside to place them on.
Okay.
And the numbering kit's also good, so if you have any tire work done, if they happen to change tires around and don't replace or don't move the sensors first, you won't have to reprogram the whole system. You'll know what number went on to what tire, and you can just reposition the sensors.
Okay.
You have a hardwire kit, so you can hardwire the monitor for charging if you'd like. And you have an auxiliary charger for charging the monitor as well. You have a little packet of extra O-rings in case you ever need them when you change a battery. And you have a low profile mount, which is a little U-shaped mount that'll just pop into the back of your monitor.
Okay. So the first step, you mentioned that I can set this up in cabin right now. What is the first step of doing that? Is it putting the stickers on? Is it numbering, or rather starting up the monitor? What's the first step here?
The first step you're going to do is if you take your manual and you turn your manual over,
okay,
you'll see a little configuration of a rig on the back and a toad.
Okay.
So what you want to do is in your kit there's a little silver numbering kit. Mm-hmm. And you just want to decide what numbers that you want to put onto your sensors. And for 6, I just typically use 1 through 6. And just peel that sticker off and put it on the back of the sensor.
On here it says it has the 1 through 6, and it also has the T 1 through 24. So is that the toad versus...
Right.
Okay. You would actually write the 1 through 6 on the back of your manual then?
Right, you're just going to write it onto what tire that you're actually going to put that on.
Okay.
That way you always have a written record of how you set the system up and how you placed it onto the tires.
Absolutely. Is there any particular place you should put the sticker on the actual sensor?
You can just put it on the outside of the back anti-theft housing.
Okay.
And one trick that I always tell people, you don't have to do it now, but before you go to put it onto the tire, is take a little bit of clear nail polish and paint over that sticker, and that'll kind of give it a lacquer finish, so out in inclement weather the sticker won't just peel off the sensor.
Absolutely, that's a great idea. So I have these all numbered, and I have them next to the back of the actual manual right here. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and the reason why there's 2 on the back is because the back of this Class A, for those that don't know, it's actually dually tires on the back. So that's how I have them numbered: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Alrighty, so what's next, Tom?
Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to set your alarm parameters.
Okay.
And what that means is we're going to set where you want your high pressure alarm to go off at and where you want your low pressure alarm to go off at.
Okay.
And because you've never had a system and you've never seen how your tires operate, we pretty much use an industry standard of setting the alarms initially at 20% above what your tire pressure is and 10% below what your tire pressure is.
Okay.
And then on your first trip, you'll notice where as your tires come up to operating temperature, you'll see your pressure increase, and then you'll know pretty much where your tires are operating at.
Okay.
And every manufacturer and every branded tire within a manufacturer is going to operate differently. So you and I might have the exact same rig, and we might be driving down the road at the same time, but you notice if you have Firestone tires and I have Michelin, you might see that when your tires come up to operating temperature, they only go up 5 psi. And I might be right behind you, and I notice when my tires come up to operating temperature, they go up 20 or 22 psi.
Okay.
As long as they're all operating around the same range, then you know that that's pretty much where your tire's off. That's the operating range for your tires. So the first thing we're going to do is, what's the tire pressure on your front axle?
On the driver's side, it is at 95. On the passenger side, it's at 102. On the passenger side duals, it is like around 95. And the inside one's pretty low at like 50. The driver's side is 85 and 90.
Okay, so do Do we think they set them about 90?
Yeah, it looks like they're about 90.
So now we're going to go ahead. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to set your alarm parameters. And we're going to base that on the tire pressure that you're using in both axles, which you said is 100 PSI in your front axle and 90 PSI in your rear axle. So if you look on the back of your manual, you'll see on the right side of the box, it'll tell you there's a little space for you to write what your tire pressure is next to each axle.
Okay.
And on the left side of the manual, it'll say low and high alarm parameters.
Okay.
So if I were you, on the right side for your front axle is where I would write the 100.
Okay.
And on the right side by the duals is where I would write the 90. And that way you know what your tire pressures were when you set up the system. Then on the left side of your manual, we're going to use the 20% above and the 10% below rule. So for your front axle, we're going to set your high pressure parameter at 120. We're going to set your low pressure parameter at 90. And on your first set of duals, we're going to set the high pressure at 108 and the low pressure at 81. So to set your parameters, the first thing we do is in the middle of your monitor, there's a button that says set. We're gonna press the set button and hold it down for approximately 3 seconds till all 22 tires show up on your screen. And that'll be the setup mode.
Alrighty.
Okay, with all 22 tires shown on your screen, the box on the left, you should see PSI or bar flashing.
Uh-huh.
And the system monitors in both standard and metric, so it'll read PSI or bar or Fahrenheit or Celsius.
Cool.
And to change between the two, you can just press your plus or minus button, and you'll see the PSI change to bar and back. Okay, so we want you to be set on PSI. So if you're set on PSI, just go ahead and press the set button and release it. And whenever in this mode, whenever you press the set button and release, that's like saying, yes, that's what I want.
Okay.
So after you do that, on the box on the right, you should now be seeing either an F or C flashing for Fahrenheit or Celsius.
Uh-huh. We're seeing a C.
So just press your plus or minus key, and that'll change it to Fahrenheit.
Alrighty.
Now press set and release. Now your front axle is going to flash, and it's going to say high pressure.
Okay.
And go ahead and use your plus or minus key and adjust the number in the box to 120.
Got it.
Okay. Now with the if you press set and release, now your front axle is going to flash. It's going to say low pressure.
Got it.
And you can use your minus key and adjust that to 90.
Alrighty, got it.
Okay, press set and release. Now your dual axle should be flashing.
Got
It
it.
should say high pressure. And you're going to use your minus key and adjust that to 108. And then press set and release.
Okay.
Now your dual should be flashing. It should say low pressure. And just use your minus key and go down to 81.
Okay.
Okay, and since your other axles we're not going to use, if you just press set and release, set and release, set and release, set and release, until you get to where the box on the right says 158 and it says high temperature.
Gotcha.
Because you don't have a tag axle and you don't have a toad. Okay, so once we verify that the high temperature alarm is set at 158, which is pretty much an industry standard, we use that as a factory default.
Okay.
Go ahead and press your set button and hold it for 6 seconds. And it's important to hold it for the 6 seconds until you hear a beep and it goes back to your operating screen, because that tells you that it saved the changes that you just made.
So, in terms of setting this per sensor, how do we go about doing that?
Okay, so to program each sensor to the monitor for the first time, on the lower right-hand side of your monitor, there's a button that says code.
Uh-huh.
And you're going to press the code button and hold it down for 3 seconds until all 22 tires show up on your screen. And that'll be the setup mode for programming the sensors.
Okay.
So it's always going to default with your right front tire flashing, or your passenger side front. And you may notice that in the box on that tire, it's either going to say FFF, FFF, or it may have a series of numbers and letters.
Okay.
And which does yours show now?
Mine shows FFF.
Okay. So what you're going to do is, to program it off the rig, you're going to just pick up the sensor that's going to go onto that tire.
Okay.
You're going to physically hold it against the monitor just below the set button and gently press the code button and release with your finger.
Do I need to face it any particular direction, or is just as long as it's next to it?
No, just place the sensor so it's touching the housing just below the set button, and then gently press the code button and release with your finger.
Alrighty. It has 358 C6A flashing.
Okay, and that's going to be your code. So now what you're going to do is you're going to use your plus key, and now you should see your driver's side front tire flashing.
Yep.
Okay, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to pick up the sensor that's going to go onto that tire. We're going to physically hold it against the monitor just below the set button and gently press the code button and release.
That's awesome.
Okay, and to pick up the code?
Yep.
All right, so hit your plus key one time. That'll take you to your outside dual on your passenger side.
Okay.
And we're going to repeat the process.
Alrighty. Got it.
And once it changes to a code, hit your plus key again. That'll take you to your inside dual on your passenger side.
Alrighty. So that's all 6.
Okay, so now just press the code button and hold it down for approximately 6 seconds to save it, and it'll go back to your operating screen. Okay, and you can press any button and stop that audible alarm. That's just because you don't have the sensors on the tires yet. So all that you need to do now is go ahead and screw the sensors onto the valve stems, the way you have them numbered, and turn the monitor off and turn it back on. That'll clear out any data that's in the memory, and then you'll start within 1 to 5 minutes. You'll start to get the signal from each tire. And the reason it takes a little bit of time when you initially turn the monitor on is because your monitor and your sensors work in pulses. And so it takes a little while for them to keep cycling through from tire to tire for the pulses to sync up on both of them.
Absolutely. So as you're going down the road and you take a peek at your sensor, each time that you take a peek, it's going through the different tires, monitoring them at different times, just cycling through.
Right. So it's going to continually monitor as you're operating, and it'll show you the pressure and temperature for that tire as that tire flashes on your screen. And then if you go outside of any of the alarm parameters that we set up, it'll interrupt that cycle and give you a real-time alarm. You had asked me earlier about the difference between the flow-through sensors and the anti-theft sensors.
Yeah.
And typically in terms of transmitting, they transmit and operate exactly the same. The one difference is with our anti-theft sensors, we re-engineered last year and we went to a high-efficiency German IC board. So they have a little longer battery life. They have 3 to 4 year expected battery life versus the flow-through that has a 1 to 2 year battery life. And we're in the process of re-engineering those sensors now as well. I personally use all anti-theft sensors. I'm just old school. I grew up, the less mechanical parts, the better.
Absolutely.
When you're dealing with the flow-through sensors, they operate the same, but you have an internal valve, plus you have 2 Schrader valves or 2 valve cores that you're dealing with. So there's a little more chance for failure there. The most common complaints that we get on those are people saying they're slow fills. And that depends on their onboard compressor or the compressor they're using. If it doesn't have a high enough constant air pressure, sometimes it can take a long time to fill up through there. But the flow-through sensors are 2.5 inches long. The anti-theft sensors are only 1 inch. And I definitely never recommend using flow-through sensors on any types of towed or trailer, just because they have a tendency to stick out past the rim, and you risk clipping the sensor on a curve if you happen to clip a curve on a tight turn.
Yeah, that I was very impressed just opening the box and seeing the size of these and what they can do, the pressure and temperature from a remote location, sending it to a monitor. That's very impressive.
Right, and they're very lightweight. They don't affect the balance of your tires at all. There's no adjusting that you need to do. And it's just a very, from a safety standpoint, it's something that I recommend for everyone. And, you know, they can be a little pricey depending on the tires you have. But what I always tell people that the price of one blowout is going to pay for whatever system you purchase.
times a little bit more, I think, especially like I've been doing a lot of research in terms of being safe in Class A's, being that we have one now, and just learning about the front end collision safety that you have to take into account with Class A's. Like, I definitely think this is a must-have for Class A drivers.
Oh yeah, and definitely later on, if you start to pull a toad, you know, people who've never experienced or seen it will always say, well, if I have a flat tire on my toad or my tow vehicle, I'm going to feel it. And it's actually the reverse. You won't. You've got so much weight and so much power that you're sitting in. You can have a flat tire or a blowout on the toad, and you can literally pull it a couple miles till somebody pulls up next to you and honks and lets you know that you've got a problem back there. But typically by that time, you've already blown the tire and ran it all to the rim or done some external damage to the vehicle. So it's nice to know whenever you have a blowout or a tire going low, if you have a TPMS system that's going to give you an indication as soon as it happens, you can get off the road before you do any further damage.
So say if we do add a toad in the future, with your kit, is it as simple as buying more sensors and reprogramming the monitor to upgrade the system?
That's it. You just add the 4 sensors for your toad, and we just program them to the tire positions just like we did for the coach, and you just put them on the toad, and that's it.
So if someone was interested in purchasing this product, and just for my question here, if somebody was wanting to upgrade and just wanting to buy 4 more of these sensors, how much would that be?
The sensors are currently $35 each. So you would just buy the 4 sensors that you need. And the other nice thing I'll show you, since you've got your monitor in your hand, on the lower left-hand side of your monitor, there's a button that says link.
Yep.
If you press the link and the minus button at the same time, you'll see the toad or the box on the right drop off.
Oh, nice.
And that's if you ever take the coach out without the toad, you can drop it. Then if you hit the link and the plus at the same time, that'll pick the toad back up whenever you hook up. And that's what we just did in setting the parameters is one of the nice things about the system and what people like. There's a couple of methodologies on the market for TPMS systems. One's based on mathematical algorithms that people put in what the tire pressure is, and the systems are pre-programmed to give you alarms at 8%, 10%, whatever that factory uses. With our system, when it was engineered, we realized that every time you go out, you might be operating under different conditions. You might be going across climate zones, or if you're loaded down heavy to go out for a couple months, your tires are going to be running hotter and your pressure is going to be higher. So the nice thing about our system is you can go in by axle and adjust where you want your high pressure or low pressure settings to be. You're not locked into any factory presets. Yeah,
that's definitely important for G and I, especially on the road trip we're doing. We're going from, the extremes on both ends. We're going through desert, through rainforest, through the Alcan, up to Alaska, back down to the deserts again. So that's definitely important for us.
Exactly, and if you know how it's going, and you can kind of watch as your tires operate, because the system will scroll from tire to tire continuously, and it'll show you what your pressure and temperature are. And so if you do get to a different climate zone and you make adjustments, then that's going to help you from having false alarms later on down the road.
Absolutely. So you mentioned that there's the flow-through, and then the one I got was anti-theft. How does this work anti-theft?
If you actually, you'll see inside your kit you have two little wrenches, and if you look at the bottom of your sensor, it's got a little hex nut. Inside that plastic bag with your numbering kit, you should have two wrenches.
There's the U.
They'll be silver, and they look like they have a U shape on one end.
Oh, these guys right here. Oh, okay.
And so to install it, you just set the sensor inside that U shape.
Okay.
And you'll use the wrench to screw it onto your valve stem.
Oh.
And if you actually take the sensor in your hand right now, with your left hand, if you hold the hex nut and take your right hand, you can actually see where you spin the outer housing.
That is.
So if somebody tries to steal the sensor, the outer housing is just going to spin on them. They won't be able to remove the sensor from the stem.
So they have to have this tool.
Yes.
That is very clever. That's awesome. So how does this system actually work? Like, so each one of these sensors has internals that is able to show both temperature and pressure in such a small little capsule. How is that done?
If you actually look inside down the threads of the sensor itself, you'll see right in the middle there's a little nipple, and around that nipple is solid black. The nipple is what depresses your Schrader valve or your valve core, and that is what releases air into the sensor. That black is actually an O-ring that sits up against the top of your valve stem and seals it from any air leaking out of it once you've got the sensor installed. So that what it is it's measuring the air pressure from your valve stem or from your tire into the sensor, and it's measuring the temperature of that air as well. And that's what it's going to give you the readings on your monitor on your dash. The other nice thing about having whatever system you get, you want it to read temperature, because temperature is not only an indication of how your tire is running or if you have a soft sidewall, but your temperature can also be an indication if you have a brake dragging on that hub or if you have a bearing starting to seize up and it's heating up the rims. You'll see the temperature either on one tire or both of the tires, if it's your duals, starting to climb. And if you see those climbing or one tire climbing higher than what your other ones are, then you can pull over and you'll know that it's an indication that there may be other problems as well. The system comes with a 3-year warranty, and we offer 24/7 tech support. So if people ever have any questions or problems, they don't have to worry about waiting till Monday to talk to somebody, or if they have a concern at any time of the day or night on the road, they can call and speak to someone. People if they buy directly from our site, it's going to be a little bit cheaper. We sell on Amazon, eBay, and our website. Amazon and eBay, it's a little bit more because we have to adjust for the selling fees on those sites. But other than that, these systems are exactly the same. If you do have a Toad and a motorhome, we do sell mixed system sets. So if you wanted to have all flow-through sensors on your rig and anti-theft on your Toad, you can just purchase a mixed system, and it'll come with the 8 or 6 flow-through sensors and the 4 anti-theft sensors. Or you can just specialize in the comments how you'd like the system set up, and we'll customize it to whatever your needs are.
Well, thank you, sir. I really do appreciate your time. This has been very educational for me personally, and I'm sure everybody watching this. I had no idea these systems were so intuitive and just so relevant to pretty much everyday driving with these bigger rigs.
And on your first trip, if you have any questions or problems or any time after that, don't hesitate to give us a call. Some people will call, some people will send a quick text message, some people will email, whatever is convenient for you, and we'll get right back to you.
Alrighty, will do. Thank you, sir.
All right, take care, and good luck tomorrow. You guys have a good